Alright, so this is a video response to a message I received. Somebody sent me a message congratulating, us on the 200,000 subscribers. And this question is, he said he thought it'd be interesting to hear about the ups and downs that I've gone through to make it to where I am today, or just as your YouTube career goes. So, ups and downs. I guess as far as like staying specific to YouTube, building up, first starting off, I never even knew that you can make money from YouTube. So that when I first started YouTube, it wasn't about making money, because I never thought that you could make money. It was just something to express my art, and I put some videos out there and I got some good responses, got some appreciation, and that was motivating in itself, because the martial arts, a lot of it is about sharing, and you just feel good when you could help other people, or when you see other people appreciate what you do. It just feels good, and that's my motivation from sharing videos from the beginning. It wasn't about money at all. Later on, YouTube started to allow people to make money, and that just made it even more appealing and more motivating. First, you're in a position where you enjoy to share, just for the sake of sharing, and then you get in a position where, hey, you could actually make some money while you share. So then, you start making a little money, maybe $100 a month or something like that, and you're content with that, because at first you weren't making anything. Now you're making something. It's better than nothing, and you're just thankful. But I guess what happened was, when you start making money and you start getting people to watch, then you start paying attention to what people like to watch more and what they like to watch less. So I think what ended up happening is I put a video out there criticizing, the MMA, and I labeled it with something very aggressive. I used a swear word to label it, and then I noticed that it got a lot of views, like really quick. So within that day, there was like thousands of views in one day. Maybe 5,000 views in one day, when normally there might just be 100. And students started to call me up and say, hey, I saw this video, and it just started to create a lot of controversy real quick. And I'm like, I've been here for a few years now, and I've been talking kindly, softly, professionally, and calmly, and not that many people are listening. But now when I swear, now everybody wants to listen, and everybody's tuning in, and all these people are calling me up, all these controversies going on. And then I was like, let me just use this to my advantage, let me make money off of this. So basically my thought was, hey, profit off the controversy, profit off the aggressiveness, profit off the explicitness. So I started to get into that cycle of, being very negative, being very critical, basically with the mentality of making money. Hey, let me criticize this person, that person, and just criticize everybody and generate views and attention and make money off that. And then people would add fuel to the flame by sending me messages and encouraging me to criticize more and more people. And then it just started to get me into more, I was pretty much like digging myself into a hole, not knowing so, because I thought that YouTube was, allowing like freedom of free speech and expression, but there's definitely limits to that. So the money was going up, and I think it topped off at, you know, $1,000 a month. And to me, that was a lot of money at that time. You know, when you come from making nothing per month on YouTube, and then you get $100 per month, and all of a sudden it jumps all the way up to $1,000 per month. You know, even though it was creating a lot of controversy, the fact that I was making money from the controversy, it gave me motivation to do that, to continue to do that. Even though that I got some death threats and, you know, a bunch of hate mail and people calling me on the phone, maybe some even people coming to my school to try to challenge me. You know, there was a lot of, it was basically spreading more criticism and negativity for the purpose of profit. And then people started to create hate channels about me, and people started to steal my work and mock me and make fun of me and talk trash about me. So basically it was just kind of like an understanding that, hey, you know, I'm criticizing other people are going to criticize me, and that's just how it goes. And, you know, as long as I'm making money, my train of thought was like, hey, you know, if a lot of people don't like me, but I'm still making, say, thousands of dollars a month, even though people don't like me, it was okay with me at that time. So, but everything backfired when they eventually booted me off of YouTube, and they basically said that I'm banned for life. You know, they said, you know, I was, basically my videos were getting flagged, and repeated flags, and they ended up booting me out, and they said that I could never come back. And then at that point, it was a deep, reflective, and spiritual experience, because all my hopes and dreams and ambitions to build off of YouTube and make a living off of YouTube, at that time, it was all just, it was done. The dream was taken away, and I had to just face reality and just see, like, you know, this YouTube thing's not an option anymore. I gotta find another way to, you know, somewhere else to put my energy and still do what I do. And you know, I still continue running the school and training and just living a more peaceful and reserved lifestyle. And it's a big learning experience, you know, like, just to see that, you know, I don't have the right to be on YouTube. It's something where they give me, it's an honor to be able to, a privilege to even be on there. And it's something that you can't just do whatever you want to do. You can't say whatever you want to say. You can't go out there hurting other people's feelings and thinking that everything's gonna be okay, you know. And it just really, it really was bothersome from within, knowing that that's where my passion was, you know, to share not just to the community but to the world. But then that was taken away from me because of, you know, what I did, you know. And even though I didn't feel it was fair, because there's so much more negativity going on out there in other people's channels, and then they were okay, but then I wasn't okay. I didn't think it was fair treatment, but at the same time, you know, it is what it is, and it happened, and there's really, I just have to deal with it. So at that point, it was just about continuing to train and do my thing, sharing to people in the community, and, you know, just living the way of the martial arts. But what ended up happening was, after about a year, I contacted YouTube and I made an apology letter, and I just told them that it'll never happen again. And amazingly, they gave me my channel back, and the videos were all still there, and the subscribers, and like, it was like a rebirth from an early death. That's what it felt like. It felt like the YouTube, when it got terminated and they said I'll never be back, it almost felt like I died. You know, my social media presence died, and just my energy was taken away, and it was just like an early death. And then after that year of reflection and growing from within and spiritually, it was a resurrection. And it was a new opportunity to say, hey, you know, do it the right time this time, you know. Learn from what you did in the past, your mistakes, and correct that and do it the right way. And, you know, ever since then, you know, I've been very thankful to be back on YouTube, and I had to start all over. And I think when I got my channel back, I think I wasn't even making $100 a month, but I was thankful, maybe like $50 a month, and I was like, hey, you know, that's $50 that I wouldn't have had if it wasn't for YouTube. So I was thankful for that, and then I just kept building on there and just trying to put positive material out there and just try to take away the negativity and not let it enter into my realm. You know, like I get to choose what I allow into my life, you know, like videos that pop up on the side, if it had anything to do with MMA and stuff like that, I'll just put like not interested, and then I'll just basically request that they don't suggest those videos to me, so because I don't want to see those, you know. And when it came to articles that I read on my phone, anything that comes up in MMA, I'll do the same thing. I'll just be like, you know what, not interested, and basically tell them not to suggest those things to me anymore. People that sent me emails, I would just, talking about MMA, I would just, you know, put those emails in junk mail. I turned off all the comments because I didn't want to get back into that, you know, that type of confrontation with people, arguing with people, and you know, it was taking way too much of my energy, and it's not worth it. You know what I mean? Like, even if I'm making $50 a month from YouTube and I get booted out because people don't like me, I'm losing $50, and it's not worth it for me. You know, so I don't want to get in arguments with people. I don't want to criticize other people. I just want to, basically, I was thankful to just come back, just do my thing, be myself, basically just keep my mouth shut and just make videos. And even if I'm making $50 a month, you know, I'm thankful, you know, and just to be back, you know, just to be able to express my art to not just the community but to the world. And it just gave me a whole new perspective, and from then on, you know, I try not to speak much when I make videos. I just try not to say anything, or if I do speak, I try to keep it short, or I see it as a benefit or a good thing if I don't put out any videos for a whole week, because then if I don't put out any videos, there's nothing for people to complain about. So that's why I haven't been putting much videos out there when it comes to speaking. And it's like, the less, basically my mentality was like, the less videos I make, the better, because then there's less chances of people getting upset, you know. So either don't put out a video, or if I do put out a video, don't say anything. If I do say something, make sure that I am positive, and I don't criticize other people and things like that. You know, adhering to those guidelines, following the guidelines of YouTube, making sure that, you know, if there's any children in the videos, that I'm not doing anything aggressive or just over the top, or basically not swear on video either, and, you know, just be as very professional. So I learned a lot, because, you know, I don't ever want to get booted off again, you know. And basically just, I was doing that, and then eventually I looked at my old videos, and I was like, you know, some of these board breaking videos with the kids is like super popular, and I was like, what, you know, what's going on? So then I put out a few videos with the kids doing some board breakings, and then it just got like a lot of views, and I was just like, I finally, you know, I caught on. I was like, you know what, like, some of these kid videos are like very popular. So then I started to put out more kid videos, doing like martial art type of things and exercises, and they were getting very popular. And then all of a sudden, the subscribers, within like a year, it jumped from like 50,000 to like 150,000. So basically, the kids' videos is what's bringing attention towards the channel. It's not me, really. So it's not really right for me to claim all the credit or just be like, hey, you know, everybody's here for me now. They're not here for me. Essentially, most of the audience are here for the children, watching the children's videos. And so anything that, you know, I can't just come in here and just be like, or, you know, like, disrupt the flow of the energy of what this channel, what the people are here for. So that's why I don't want to put out too many philosophy videos, because the audience is not here for that. Majority of the audience is here to see those children videos. So, like, if I can make a living just putting out children's martial art videos, and then I'm making thousands of dollars a month just producing children's martial art videos, and I don't say anything for myself, I'm fine with that. And basically that's what ended up happening. That's how it got popular. You know, and I'm not making money from criticizing other people, criticizing MMA, or talking trash, or being violent, and not making money from beating people up and putting them in the hospital. I'm not making money from injuring other people. I'm not making money from talking trash about other people. So the way that I'm making money now is basically putting out fun, creative children's martial art videos. That's where the majority of the money is coming in from. And also, if you look at the videos that are popular, I'm making money from breaking boards, and that's completely fine. You know, if I could just break boards all day and put out children's videos all day and I'm making money from that, I'm completely fine with that. I don't need to have people send me death threats and come challenge me at my school and try to beat me up, and me having to beat other people up, and, you know, like, just hurting each other physically, emotionally, verbally. I don't need to do all that for money. I can make money from just being at peace, putting out children's videos, breaking some boards, and I'm good. You know, so that's pretty much where it's at right now. And the amount of money that I'm making per month is more than I've ever made on YouTube since I've been here, and I'm very, very thankful. You know, I don't know how long it's gonna last, but I don't assume that it's gonna be forever. It's just something where I see, hey, you know, just enjoy it while it lasts, and just do your best to not disrupt the flow of what's going on. And people, like, of all ages are watching, but there are a lot of children watching. Like, a lot of my kids' friends from school are watching the videos. Basically, there's a lot of children watching, 13 years and under. So I can't use profanity. I can't speak on things that are too over the top of the head, because they're not going to understand it anyway. So, like, making too many of these videos where I talk so much, it's not really benefiting the majority of the audience. The majority of the audience is 80%, like, under 13. How are they going to benefit from me talking about 30 minutes over random life topics, you know? Maybe later on in life, when the 13-year-old turns into a 25-year-old, they might go back in the videos and be like, hey, you know, he has some really interesting things to say about these topics, you know? So, you know, I try not to overflood the channel with too much talking and too many philosophy videos. You know, I feel like I said what I needed to say, and I don't need to say it again. At least not in the way that I used to say it. The way that I present it this way is just very, you know, non-confrontational. It's just more like, hey, you know, I don't like that stuff, it's not for me, and just leave it at that. I don't have to go so deep into just basically, you know, criticizing people and putting other people down. So, you know, that's pretty much what has been going on as far as the ups and downs. And then he said, how have I kept myself from losing hope or letting doubt take over and then giving up? You know, regardless if there's YouTube or not, you know, I'm still going to be training. Training in the martial arts is very important for me. It's my way of life. And not just training, but also teaching. Like, I love teaching. So like, I always want to have my martial arts school, and I always do my best to keep that school alive and running. One of the most disappointing things to even imagine is if I wasn't getting enough business and I had to shut down the school and I got to go back into working a regular job just like everybody else. That is depressing to even think about it. So I do everything in my power to keep that school alive, and even if I don't have that many students, got to make sure that I save enough money so then when the enrollment is low for that month, I have enough money to, to pay for the operating costs of the school. So I have to have that school running. I got to put all my energies, even if it means me getting another job, then that's what I'm gonna do. Even if it means me like having to get rid of some of the luxuries that I have, then that's what I'm gonna have to do. Even if it means me like eating less food per day, then that's what I'm gonna have to do. Even if it means me having to even live in my car, that's what I'm gonna have to do. I have to do what I have to do to make sure that that school is there. So that is just something that I have to do. And then when that school is there, it allows me the opportunity to teach my children. So I will always be teaching my children at the school. I will always be training myself. I'll always be training with my father. And then for the students that are there committed to the martial arts, I will always be there to train them, as long as I'm alive, and then basically YouTube has nothing to do with that. That's just what I have to do because that's who I am, and that's what I'm here for. That's one of my biggest purposes in life, is to keep training and representing the martial arts the best that I can within my own community. So I'm not giving up on that. As far as YouTube is concerned, when they told me that you can never come back, and then they said you've made your mistake, there's nothing you could do about it, I had nothing to do but to accept that reality. But YouTube has changes, and just recently they say, hey, not anybody can monetize anymore. You got to have at least like 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 views, or whatever their requirements are. But through time, things change. So in YouTube, you might be making no money. Next thing you know, you're making some money, and next thing you know, you're making a lot of money. And then next thing you know, you go back to making not as much money. Like, things fluctuate on YouTube. Like, nothing's ever like permanent. So I understand that, but I also understand that creating a lot of controversy is not good for YouTube, and criticizing a lot of other people is not good either. Like, basically just being nice to the people and just staying low-key. It's good to get attention, but getting too much attention is not necessarily a good thing, because it could all backfire on you, So just, those are things that I've learned, and I just want to stay here. You know what I mean? Like, okay, what have you learned from this experience? Like I said, I guess one of the best things to do is, if you can make money from videos when you don't say anything, then that's pretty much like the best thing. Because like, how much can people complain about if you don't say anything? As long as you're doing something positive. Say you're making a video and you're showing people yourself doing like human flag, and then all of a sudden you get like 500,000 views, and then you're making all this money from that video. That's like the best thing, because you didn't have to say anything, you just did something, people liked it, and then now you got famous over it. That's great. Or you make a video, of you hitting the heavy bag, and then people love seeing that video, then that's great. The next best thing is, you make a video and you say a little something, you know, something positive. The next best thing also, you make a video and you're teaching something positive. You know, like, for me, I don't like to teach the martial arts because I feel that stuff like that should be more of like a one-on-one experience, or in an experience where you're getting to meet the person face to face. I feel that martial arts, to me, should be more of like a kind of like an inner teaching. Like, it's okay to express it, but to teach it, it should be something where you are teaching directly. That's the way that I see it. You know, passing it on through like direct communication. You know, kind of like, in a way, like intimacy. It's supposed to be a direct experience, not so much like of an online thing. You know, that's the way that I see it. I see that martial arts, that's how it should be transmitted. But it doesn't mean that you can't express it. Like Bruce Lee was expressing it, and the expression creates inspirations, you know, and then that gives you energy to go seek out teachers that you could learn from directly, you know. So Bruce Lee inspired, you know, a lot of people, including myself, to want to seek the martial arts through direct experience, and that is okay. Like, expressing the martial arts is great, it's a benefit, but teaching it shouldn't be something that's done on the digital realm, as far as like certain aspects of the martial arts, you know, especially the physical aspect. You know, the mental and the spiritual can be shared in the digital realm, just like Bruce Lee's books, but the physical, when you're like, hey, you know, hands-on, and you're trying to show people how to, you know, hurt people in different ways at different situations, and you want to do some hands-on sparring, like that, to me, has to happen directly. You know, so I feel that even though, like, teaching people usually is considered a positive thing, but it's not necessarily always a positive thing, because if you're teaching people the wrong things, then it can lead to negative things. So for example, say somebody, you know, made a video out there teaching people how to, you know, you know, try to teach people how to do something illegal. That's not good. You know, so that video needs to be removed. And video even has, you know, YouTube even has guidelines against those things. You know, like teaching people how to be violent. That's not good. Teaching people how to manipulate other people. That's not good. Like, teaching is not necessarily always a good thing. So when you make a video, you have to pay attention to what you are teaching to the people. Like, it has to be something positive. So, like, so not all teaching videos, tutorials are good. So if you teach, you got to teach something positive, and you got to teach something where you're not going to end up hurting other people. Alright, so that goes with that. And then, you know, you should not be criticizing other people, like, just like very harshly. You gotta be careful how you know, give your opinions on things. You know, so don't be so attacking, and don't make it seem as if you're better than everybody else because you see this a certain way, or basically encourage divisions amongst people. Like, you have to be able to be like, hey, you know, this is my opinion, but then express it in a professional way, and be more short and concise about it. Don't be so, like, don't be overly critical. You know, and also just put in perspective, like, if I'm criticizing something or someone, what am I getting out of it, and what am I losing from that? So if you put a video out there criticizing something or someone, and all of a sudden your income drops from $20,000 a month to $2 a month or $1,000 a month, it's not worth it. You know, just shut your mouth and don't say anything. Basically, when you start making a lot of money on YouTube, there's so much more to lose, and it's not worth it. Like, keep those thoughts to yourself. You know, like, don't create divisions amongst people. And sometimes you just gotta allow people to figure it out on their own. So, like, there's a more of a definite understanding of why it's not good to get political or personal when you're making a lot of money on YouTube. Like, just don't even go there. So that's another thing that I learned, you know, and just basically remain positive. And also your lifestyle is very important. Who you surround yourself with, the energy of the people that you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with very egoistic people, then that energy is going to come out in your videos, and then it's going to attract a certain audience. But if you surround yourself with very humble, intelligent, spiritual, meditative people in your own life, then that energy is going to be what you're going to emit within your videos, and then it's going to draw in that type of audience, because that's the energy that you're putting out in the videos. So that's a major difference as well that of what I've gone through, is that my past energy, the people that I was around, was not the right energy for me, and then that made my videos come out with a lot more negativity. But now that I have more of a peaceful energy within my own personal life, more of a peaceful, loving, and compassionate energy within my personal life, the energy comes onto me, and then that energy comes out in the videos, and that draws in a whole different audience. So that is a very important aspect of it. And also, shutting out noise, like excess noise, is very important. What I mean by that is, like, you get to choose what you watch on YouTube, and when they suggest things that you don't like, then do something about it. Tell them not to suggest that to you anymore. When friends come to you with the wrong energy, put a stop to that. Don't allow that energy to overcome you, and then start spreading that onto other people through, say, for example, your YouTube channel. Same thing with your Facebook. If people are trying to distract you with negative energy, you gotta put an end to that. In your personal life, basically, you have to control the energy that you allow into your life, from the YouTube to the Facebook, from the Instagram to your friends that you talk to directly, to you know, the things that you watch on television, to the movies that you watch, to everything that you have your life in. Control that energy. Don't let that negative energy consume you. And then now you share that energy into social media, and then you spread negative energy through your audience. That's very important. You got to put a stop to that. So you know, I've learned that. So just also learning that less is more. Before, I put out videos every single day, put out maybe 10 videos a day of just repeated garbage and nonsense, and just yapping just to yap. But now it's more like, okay, instead of putting out 10 videos a day, maybe put out one a week, one every 2 weeks, one every month, one every 3 months. Maybe see if your goal could be just put out one video a year. Like, just basically challenge yourself to stay silent. When you talk so much, learn to stop talking. You know, and just basically see that more and more is not always good. So those are things that I've learned, and just stay positive. Don't create divisions amongst the people. And another thing is, when you start making more money, especially, you know, when you start making a lot more money on YouTube, you tend to not want to be critical, and you tend to just be more content. It's like, hey, you know, I'm making money, they're making money, let's just be friends. Like, let's just be cool. Like, I'm not gonna bother you, don't bother me. Just you make money, I make money, and just leave each other alone. Like, I don't want to make them make less money, and I don't want them, you know, getting me to make less money. So it's like, it's just more able to just be less complaining about less things. You know, when you make a lot of money, you get to the point where you're like, you know what, what's there to complain about? You know, like, I'm living a great life. Like, why am I complaining? Why should I complain? But if you're not making any money and everybody else is making all this money, then yeah, you're gonna complain a lot, and that's just gonna come natural. Be like, hey, that's not fair. Like, this person making all this money and I'm here making nothing, and then you complain. But when you start making good money, you're not gonna want to complain, because, like, you know what, ain't nothing to complain about. You know, so that's something that I've noticed as well. And then, you know, he asked me what do I think about these two MMA fighters, and all I gotta say is I don't follow that. I'm not into that. I don't pay attention to that. So I just like to focus on what I like to focus on, and, you know, I try not to focus on other fighters and martial artists. I try to focus on my own development, and, you know, meeting people directly that I could experience, that I could train with, and just improve, you know. And I think there's not much out there when it comes to, like, the pure martial arts, and that's something you have to kind of create within your own experience, you know. And I think that's the uniqueness of the martial arts, is that you can't really find that stuff like out there. It's something that happens within your own experience, you know, that you create. And I encourage people to do that. So meaning, like, rather than watch other people fight, why don't you go ahead and start training with people and learn how to fight, and basically learn how to figure out for yourself what is the most effective, and make it as real as you possibly can make it. Aside from all the lights and cameras and the money and the recognition and the betting and the trash talking, like, shut all that out. Put yourself in a room, just you and the other person, and make that fight as real as you possibly can, according to your own terms, and then come to your own conclusions upon what is effective and what is not effective. Like, create your own experience, and know the truth for yourself. You know, you don't need to worry about explaining it to other people or proving to other people, but know the truth for yourself through your own direct experience. And I think that's the beauty of the martial arts, that you can't get from anything out there. You know, so what I know is what I know, and even the videos that I make, I try to make it realistic, but no, the people that are watching will never truly understand what I understand within the sparring experience and the fighting experience, because it is my own personal experience, and it just is what it is, you know. So I encourage people to do that, you know, not to focus on the others, but to train, you know. Join the school, learn from the instructor, learn from the other students, keep growing within your own understanding, and just be as responsible as you can in how you express the martial arts. So that's all I have to say, and thank you for everyone for paying attention, for supporting, and please subscribe, please support the channel, and I'm very thankful for everyone out there. I'm thankful to be here, and I hope that I could continue to be here to share positive energy.